Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you everyone for being here and those watching on TV. First order of business is the election results. You all have the results in front of you. I have a motion to accept the election results as presented.
I move to accept the election results as presented.
Motion made, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Now I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I move to adjourn.
Motion been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Now, you want to do your thing next, right?
Oath of office administered to the newly elected officials. You two please join me. All right, if you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jim Shermer,
Do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and confirm
that I will support the Constitution,
I will support the Constitution,
the laws of the United States,
the laws of the United States,
the state of Missouri,
state of Missouri,
and the ordinances of the city of Herman.
and the ordinances of the city of Herman.
And I will faithfully demean myself
I will faithfully demean myself
and perform all the duties
and perform all the duties
of the office
of the office
for which I have been elected.
for which I have been elected.
And I possess all qualifications
I possess all qualifications
prescribed for said office,
prescribed for the office,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Welcome aboard again.
Thank you.
You'll sign those and return them to me later.
All right. The next order of business is we need to have a motion to elect a president of the Board of Aldermen.
I'll move to elect Susan Langer.
Motion's been made to elect Susan. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Okay, now we need a motion to appoint Deputy City Clerk Corey Orr as the city clerk.
I move to appoint Corey as deputy city clerk.
As a city
No,
clerk.
as the city
City-
clerk. He has-
Oh, he was deputy, so now he's,
Yes, ma'am.
Moving up the ladder.
yeah, one less word.
We have a motion to appoint.
I'll second.
I have a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Corey, did you stand up?
Let's make this official. So I'm happily passing off the baton to Corey Orr, who will do a wonderful job as city clerk, and I'll just remain as city administrator. So Corey, if you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Corey Orr,
I, Corey Orr,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution,
that I will support the Constitution,
the laws of the United States,
the laws of the United States,
the state of Missouri,
the state of Missouri,
and the ordinances of the city of Herman.
and the ordinances of the city of Herman.
And I will faithfully demean myself
And I will faithfully demean myself
and perform all the duties
and perform all the duties
of the office
of the office
for which I have been appointed.
for which I have been appointed.
And I possess all qualifications
And I possess all qualifications
prescribed for said office.
prescribed for said office.
So help me God.
So help me God.
And congratulations to you, sir.
All right. Mayor's report. I just hope that everybody had a blessed Easter. I really have. No other news. City administrator report.
Yes. All right, so budget season, so that is my biggest task at the moment, and working with department heads on nailing down some details to get you all your first draft by May 1st. I mentioned at our last meeting about the East 5th street parking, the city-owned FEMA buyout lot. Again, it only has very limited allowed uses, green space, or basically a gravel parking lot. It has to be free public parking. So what I wanted to report to you this week as a follow-up is that we've gotten confirmation from SEMA that they will allow us to do some grading so that we can make that exit into the alley. So we can move forward with that, and I talked to Todd this morning and he thought he could get that going yet this spring. Have a little bit of an update on the airport project. Again, they're repaving the aprons. So after the winter shutdown, I've been working with the engineer and the contractor, and we've set the new notice to proceed date for April 12th. Hoping the contractor is ready to go then. He's trying to work out some details with his subcontractor who will actually be laying the asphalt. I should know more this week on when they're actually going to be out on site. MRPC came and met with us last week. We've been putting out some feelers for the last couple of years. We've heard about some grant monies for streets that are part of flood routes. In the past, we hadn't been eligible because most of the money went to low to moderate income communities and communities that had a higher rate of flooding, more frequent flooding than we do. So MRPC thinks there might be a little crack for us to possibly get in there this year. They've changed some of the requirements to where 50% of their money no longer has to go primarily just to low and moderate income communities. So it might open up the window for us because we're one tier up from that. So I'm hoping that will work out. It's kind of a long shot, but it'd be worth a try. We're going to be tweaking our flood route a little bit to provide a path that'll be easier for tractor trailers to make some turns. That would have to come before you all to be approved by ordinance. That would be submitted as part of the grant application. It won't get awarded until 23-24, and then we'd have 2 years to complete the work. This is a CDBG grant, so in-kind work does count towards our match. So this is really a pretty great opportunity. Again, we don't want to get our hopes up too high because we still have those other communities ahead of us who are low to moderate income, who have more flooding. But MRPC thinks that not all of those apply every year, and so there might be some funds left where we could kind of squeeze in there. So we're going to keep following up on that. And so that's good news, but the bad news is the natural grant that we have been waiting, the natural gas grant. It's actually called Natural Gas Distribution Infrastructure Safety and Modernization Grant. It's a competitive federal grant for a limited amount of funds, and we were declined. Unfortunately, due to our risk profile, they're saying basically they didn't deem our situation as high risk as some other communities that applied. So we will be looking at it and talking it over and seeing if we can possibly tweak some things and reapply, but I'll let you know how that goes. Let's see. Last thing I'll mention is that Mark Fulmer from Quality Custom Moldings popped in last week and just gave me an update, said that on April 17th, which I think is next Monday, they'll be moving their second piece of large equipment, and then moving more in May. So still, that's really exciting, kind of better than we could have hoped for, having Pretium moving out and another company moving in literally on their heels. It's really amazing. Quality Custom Moldings, they won't quite be as big of a user of electric that Pretium was initially, but if they expand like they hope to, they could in time get up to that level. So that is definitely worth celebrating. And on that note.
Okay, thank you. Tourism and Economic Development Director report.
I'm so sorry, I meant to do that.
I will keep mine shorter than Trisha. So I would just wanted to give you just a brief overview of what we've been working on within the tourism team. Amtrak marketing, we continue to work with the other 9 Amtrak stations along the Missouri River Runner route to market the Missouri River Runner. We are working together to do a 2-day promotional event in Illinois to increase our ridership from Illinois. The Guide-to-Go app, I gave you a rack card and a business card about that. We've taken our hard copy walking tours and turned them into virtual tours. We've been doing audio and video interviews with Herman legends like Joy Kallmeyer, Jim Unken, Lois and Don Cruz, Mary Kunstman, and several others. And I think all of that is soon to be loaded, if not already loaded, onto that Guide-to-Go app. And I think it will be, it's a real treasure of us to have all of this history captured on that on that tour. People can download the app from all over the world and learn more about Herman from all over the world. So whether they come to Herman and actually do the walking tour here or do it from their recliner, we don't care as long as they, well, we kind of do, as long as they're learning more about Herman. And so we're encouraging all of our businesses to help market that with us as well. Wednesday through Friday, I'll be in Branson to meet with bus tour group operators. This is a conference organized by the Missouri Travel Alliance, and I have 15 meetings scheduled with group tour operators. Next week, I'll be in Alabama promoting Herman, again, to bus tour group operators from all over North, East, and South United States. Working with Perryville, Missouri, offering shrines, wines, and German good times. And we have over 35 meetings set up with bus tour group operators. The Visitor Information Center is running very smoothly. We started doing training Tuesdays for the entire tourism team. We take one afternoon every month and we go to businesses and attractions. It's a valuable tool for expanding our knowledge of what each business offers in terms of their services and in the products that they're offering, and it allows us time to engage with those owners and their staff. It's been really, really wonderful. A lot of people are asking about the movie that was filmed here last year in November and December. And I was talking with Elizabeth today. The production team is really, really close on the final draft and launching it for sale. Very exciting for our town and for the businesses and attractions that participated in the movie. And once they give us permission, we will also launch a tour of the movie on the Guide-to-Go app. Matt Wilson did a lot of interviews with the actors and with the site owners. So that will be something very unique that we have to offer, and something that we will probably market for the next 20 to 25, maybe more years. Very excited for that. Rob continues to work really hard to update our website and work with our business partners, attractions partners, and the not-for-profits to get their business listings updated and their events added to the calendar of events. And I've been working with the MyFest committee to pull that event together, and it looks like we will have a wonderful weekend of activities. I'm looking very forward to it. So be sure to watch our progress on myfestherman.org. We've had several businesses open in the first quarter of the year, and more businesses will be opening up or expanding. Herman is definitely progressing, and it's no wonder Herman was chosen as the 19th most beautiful town to visit in America. Thank you for your time, and are there any questions?
Thank you for what you and your team do.
Thank you.
Deeply appreciated. Okay, public comments. Mr. Kramer, you're first.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have been observing the Free Creek as usual and noticed that with these rains, small rains we had, even the water coming out of the storm sewers bubble. So it's the laundry water that's still going into the sewage system, or the stormwater system, pardon me. There's a possibility you could get a fish kill if these rains came at the right time and you had a run of red horse up the creek like sometimes they do in the spring with the warm wind, or with the warm rains, and they get trapped up here, and then we get a small rain and the water comes out of the sewer system, or the stormwater system full of the nitrates and phosphates, and it'll kill the fish. Right now, there's no fish in there to kill, but that could change with the continually flushing of the river, the creeks with the rain. Even with the rains that we've had this spring, it never cleared up. It was always foaming. I observed it all. If you would permit me, I would like to look at the sewage treatment plant as well and see where the effluent goes. City of Columbia has drained their effluent into a marsh, which further purifies the water, especially with the excessive nutrients, takes it out of the water with the marsh, fast growth of marsh plants. I don't know that your sewage system will stand everybody putting their laundry water into the sewage system. I do know that I did it because of my belief, and it didn't cost me a cent. My laundry was set up that all I had to do is move the hose the same distance to the right to put it into the sewer system as it was to the left to put it into the storm water system. This area is covered by the people that are concerned with pollution by the DNR people from the St. Louis Regional Office, and I would recommend someone of your city employees contact them to see if they can give you any kind of help in any way to get this situation cleared up. However, I don't get the paper, but I've had a lot of comments from people that have read about this situation in the paper, so somebody's doing a good job of reporting your meeting to them, and I'm very proud of that.
All right.
And that's my comments. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, sir. Mike Sloan.
I'll be brief. I just want to make a few comments. I know it's coming up on the next report is the Port Authority under old business, and I just wanted to put out a few words of my support for that. And I don't know where this is at, and I've been to a few meetings and introduced to it by talking to some other people, and you know, it kind of gets me excited. Other people get excited about it, and I kind of get excited about it when I start to hear things about, you know, moving forward with some economic growth in Herman. And you know, I believe like in business, and the city is in business, and you know, everybody has a business of some sort, but I've always believed that if in order to move forward, you have to put yourself in a position to be able to move forward. And I think if this is something that could take place, I think it's going to happen, and if Herman could be part of that process, I think it would greatly benefit the city and the schools and housing and things of that sort. But you know, I think if you don't get to second base, you don't get to first base. And Herman has a lot going for it, and it seems to be on the upper cusp of things that's going on. And I think we need to try to keep the momentum going. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of that, really. Even in somewhat, you know, tough economic times, things are still happening. And I think we still need to keep the pedal to the metal and look forward and look at all the opportunities and try to see if that can work for the city. So that's all.
Thank you. You okay, sir?
I think so. There's been something in the water.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, we'll move on to old business. Old business, Port Authority. We had a meeting with the commissioners from, some of the commissioners from Montgomery County and economic developer gentleman. I thought it was very productive, and anyway, I guess I will turn it over to our attorney. He's the one that has all the legal stuff. And
So, yeah, the last official action that you guys took and gal was to approve the sending of sort of a letter of intent to Montgomery County and Mr. Etchard. And as I think I mentioned then, one of the purposes, or really the real purpose of doing that, was to identify issues or identify questions, because we had some. And keep in mind that what Montgomery County is proposing is that we join them in their application and end up with a port authority with boundaries that go around the city of Herman and then around the entire county of Montgomery County. Within those boundaries, the Port Authority Board, who we have learned is going to be 7 people, a maximum one of which is going to be a City of Herman appointee. That board has the power to create smaller port improvement districts within that boundary. So theoretically, the Port Authority Board could say, we're going to create a port improvement district, and the boundaries of that district are going to be the Herman city limits. And within this district, we are going to work with so-and-so developer, and we are going to offer these incentives and those incentives and allow them to do this and that. And that would be the Port Authority Board's prerogative, to do that. And so some of these things that we put in our letter of intent, we're just trying to get a handle or protect some decision-making on behalf of the city. One thing that we asked was, well, can the city have multiple members to the Port Authority Board? And that was a flat no, and I think we probably kind of knew that since the day Steve was here. But another item that we mentioned that we did get a positive response to was just requesting that there not be any financing tool or incentive, especially new taxes, tax abatements, tax increment financing, any one of the dozen statutory programs that are out there that affect taxes in any way without this board's approval in that City of Herman Port Improvement District scenario that I gave earlier. And they were positive to that and said that they would go ahead and agree with that. We put in our letter of intent, don't construct a port on the north bank or the south bank of the river without our approval. Well, we knew north bank was stretching, but I think we have or should have somewhat of a concern about what gets built on the south bank of the river, considering it's our own riverfront park. And what Steve finally got around to mentioning when he was here at the meeting was, well, yeah, the establishment of a port authority does need to include some plans to put in an actual port. And where is that going to be? Well, we don't know, and so I think the city would probably not like for it to be anywhere near Riverfront Park, preferably not right across the river from Riverfront Park, although we're not going to have any say in that, whether we join them or not join them. There was some talk about the best place being actually west of the bridge somewhere, and it's going to have a lot to do with the Corps of Engineers and where barges can actually go and not go, what's shallow enough, what can be dredged, what can't be dredged. But I think the takeaway with respect to that issue is that the city of Herman does control its land use and zoning codes, and if the city wanted to, it could create a new zone or change existing zoning codes to limit what types of activities can go on the riverfront or anywhere where the city of Herman line touches the river. So that's, in my opinion, the city has adequate say or input with respect to that. We wanted to see, obviously, and approve the application before it went to MHTC. They said fine. We wanted to see and approve the bylaws before they were adopted. They said fine. I think Steve misunderstood this one. We said we wanted to have free and full access to Port Authority properties, contracts, books, records. Most everything they do, like everything that you do, is a public record. They're a public entity. And so a simple records request would get us just about anything we want. He said, well, if they're doing a mega site up in Montgomery County, and Herman folks want to go and access it, we can't necessarily have that. And again, I think that was a little strange. I'm sure they'd give the Board of Aldermen a tour tomorrow, you know. I'm sure that there would be access and information, so that's not really a concern. And then we discussed Port Authority expenses, and once again, in a 2-hour meeting, nobody from the Port Authority could really articulate or predict exactly what expenses are going to be for the Port Authority, exactly how much, if any, of the expenses they would ask the city of Herman to pay. What the theme that kept coming around and they kept saying was, well, the expenses are going to be paid. Say there's a project that comes forth or an idea, and a property owner or some property owners come and they want to use the Port Authority tool to try to get some economic incentives. It's going to be up to those property owners or those applicants to pay, you know, whatever the expenses are. If somebody like Steve's office has to be hired, or a law firm like Gilmore Bell or other municipal finance expert lawyers have to be hired, it's going to be project costs and essentially on the developer. So in my opinion, that was satisfactory. And so, you know, Ash was there and Derek was there, and when I left that meeting, well, let's say this. In asking Steve Etcher what he was looking for at this point, because remember he came maybe 2 months ago and said they would like the city to pass a resolution to say that we're definitely on board, and he initially said by early April, and so it's early April. He said that they're not ready yet with their application. The Gilmore Bell law firm is helping them, and that law firm is helping with the application and the preparation of the bylaws and so on. And Montgomery County and Steve just sort of want a thumbs up or down at this point as to whether we're with them, you know, or not, so they know what to tell the lawyers and how to draft these things, you know, whether we want to be in the drafts. So it's not at the resolution passing stage tonight. They just want to know if we're still with them or with them. And the feeling I got was that we are, but I'll let you guys speak to that.
Right. I believe the meeting was very positive, and they were there, and we pretty well told Mr. Etcher that, you know, we were on board, but we have to have everybody on board.
Could I maybe just add a piece to that? So, as Dave was saying, any new taxes or any abatements, they agreed that would need BOA approval first. So the things that we were asking for, Steve suggested and Dave agreed, putting in a supplemental intergovernmental agreement, correct? So it was going to contain language about the taxes and abatements needing Board of Aldermen approval. It was also going to contain a clause about eminent domain not being exercised without Board of Aldermen approval. And we talked about there needing to be an exit strategy articulated in this document as well, just as a safety measure. Is that how you remember?
Yeah, right. And it's the same format and same model as what's the one with Cole County and Jefferson City. And,
Heartland.
yeah. They've got the resolutions from the county, and the city. They've got the cooperative agreement between the city and the county, and ours would just work the same way.
Okay. Do you have any questions? Since you weren't at that meeting? Okay, so what we need this evening is a motion to have Dave make a resolution. No?
Not yet.
Okay.
With all due respect, I mean, you make whatever motion you want, but I think all Steve was looking for was authority to proceed. to tell the law firm.
You're
to create, yeah, to create the documents with City of Herman in them. And then we'll review them, and then we'll do the resolution.
Right, okay. I misspoke.
Then I move that we proceed.
Have a motion to proceed. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? We will proceed. I think it's a good thing. I think it, like I say, it was a very productive meeting. We really appreciated them coming and talking with us, and we're just trying to make sure that we got all our T's crossed and everything, yeah. So anyway, we will move forward. Any other old business? Any new business?
No, old business, I know we discussed it a little bit last time, and I think it appears that the marijuana tax did pass by the city. In our discussion, I don't know if everything was clear, where I would like to see the tax received go into a reserve fund for the law enforcement. I wasn't allocating, go out and start hiring an SOR, but I'd like to see that money accumulate, that we can understand what we're getting and show that the community that we're willing to invest in the safety of our future generations and build that money up so a year from now that we can, within a year, I would like to see the chief put a cost analysis together for a SOR, how that's going to affect the city. Also present it to Gascon County R1 school district so they can put their cost analysis together, and then we can come to an agreement if it's going to be a 50-50 split, a 75-25, 60-40, because it wouldn't be all upon the city, but if we have this tax money like we do with the streets, let that accumulate. So who knows? And I understand that in the future, surrounding communities may open up cannabis store. But also in the future, none of us may be sitting here.
That's true.
So I think now we have the time that we can put it in a reserve fund to help our law enforcement, our school district, and our community. So that's why I'm asking is, can we put that in reserve for that?
I think the city administrator's already gonna go in that direction as far as putting it in a separate account, correct?
I will track it separately for sure. So one of the spreadsheet reports is laying on your desk, the Excel spreadsheet tonight. Normally it's in your binder. So you'll see like those restricted funds in red. I'll make that one of those restricted funds and we'll just let it accumulate there. I wasn't planning on putting any of it in the budget. We're not counting any of that revenue towards any kind of expenditure at all. We'll just keep it and let it accumulate, and it'll have its own revenue line and cash line, so you can watch
Like I
it.
said, to move forward, now we can get the chief involvement, he can lay out the duties, responsibilities, the cost analysis, then we can get with the school board, present them, they can lay the same thing out, and then we can negotiate and possibly move forward to the next level.
So, I was already going to automatically segregate that money like we do any of the other tax monies. But are you guys care how we identify it?
Well, I think it's too early to really dedicate it to the police thing. I mean, I'm all for it, but I just, you're putting it in that account, so it's not gonna be touched, and I agree, see where it goes, but it's not gonna happen real quick. You know, we do not know how much we're gonna get. Could be 10,000, it could be 100,000, who knows, you know, but not likely. So, I mean, I'm all for putting it in a separate account, and let's just wait and see, that's all we can do. I wouldn't move forward with negotiations with the school or anything at this point, till we find out. I mean, I don't know how you all feel, but that's how I feel. I mean, we're kinda grabbing air, because we don't know. And you know, and there's so much going on in Jeff City, you know, they're trying to eliminate personal property tax, they're trying to eliminate sales tax on food, you know, that's all gonna affect the school and us, and if those things pass. So, I mean, we have to anticipate possible loss of other income that we rely on, so. But that's the first step of what
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna do.
think that would be a
Step
good
one.
step,
Yeah.
let's put it off to the side and
Yep.
let it accumulate, but I do think it's a good idea that the chief can put his program together so we can see it too. And the school board, like I said, Dr. Neal, and when I talk, we're looking at the 24-25 school year, so it's a year off. So that gives them time to put their cost analysis, what's it gonna cost, what they expect to spend. And while that, we can watch this little nest grow and be prepared for it. Let's don't wait until 2 months before to say, oh yeah, we wanna do that, or we can't do that. Let's plan for the future by putting it in black and white, not signing it, not promising. And the school board has to realize too, as well as we, that on the news last night, Missouri's gonna set a record on recreational marijuana sales again. But as it grows, that dollar may fluctuate. So we can't say you're gonna have $20,000 a year come from this tax. It may drop to 10, and yearly we may have to renegotiate cost efficiencies across the board. Thank you.
No problem, thank you. Any other old or new business? If not, we'll move on to motions. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting?
I move to approve the minutes.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Invoices for payment?
I move that we pay the bills.
I have a motion to pay the bills, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Reappoint Amy Beelman to the Tourist Commission.
I move to approve Amy Lena to Tourism Commission.
Motion made, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Oops. Liquor license, Tinker LLC, Zidico, 112 East Fifth Street.
Move to approve. Second. I move to approve.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Okay, caterers permit, Old Vine Kitchen Emporium, My Fest event on Schiller Street, May 20th, 21st, 2023.
I move to approve.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion's made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Caterers permit, Wood Hat Spirits LLC, My Fest event on Schiller Street, May 20th and 21st, 2023. Motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. K-Pink liquor license, J.C.'s My Fest Beer Garden, Sesquicentennial Park, May 19th and 20th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. K-Pink liquor license for the J.C.'s for the Oktoberfest Beer Garden, Sesquicentennial Park, October 6th, 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th, 2023.
I move to approve.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
I will second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Festival event application for the Arts Council, Arts and Crafts Festival, 314 Gutenberg Street, May 20th, 2023.
Move to approve.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Festival event application for Cub Scout Pack 216 Barbecue Fundraiser, Family Dollar Parking Lot, October 7th, 2023.
I will move to approve.
Motion made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. And no reports, you have a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So we are adjourned. Thank you everyone for coming and watching.